Donna, the question is, what's the worst thing
somebody could have overheard you say you wanted to do to her, Kurt?
you thought you could trust Austin?
I didn't.
Hang on, you thought you could trust him. When you told him,
I didn't.
you told him in the playhouse, and it was such a bomb, and it was like a truck hit him?
Yeah.
Darn right you did. That kid is scared to death.
And
That kid is scared to death.
On the afternoon of January 12, 2003, 21-year-old Amber Thorngren returned home to find her father, 42-year-old Curtis Thorngren, lying on the bathroom floor. At first, she believed he had suffered an accident, and during her 911 call, she frantically explained that her dad had fallen and that she, quote, can't get him up. Paramedics arrived within minutes, but there was nothing they could do. He was pronounced dead at the scene. How could this picture-perfect Christian family face such a horrific tragedy? Little did anyone know this day would unveil a dark and horrific truth hidden behind a mask of a picture-perfect Christian family. 42-year-old Curtis Thorngren was well known in the peaceful town of Meridian, Ohio, as a devout and religious man. Born and raised in the community, he became deeply involved in activities at the local church, where he met his wife Donna, who sang alongside him in the choir. Together, Curtis and Donna built a stable and loving home, raising 3 children, Annalisa, Amber, and Austin, in the same town where Curtis worked at Hewlett-Packard. But as their story would later reveal, even the most picture-perfect families can harbor secrets and struggles hidden behind their smiles. On that Sunday, Curtis was found shot to death, and many in the town believed his murder was drug-related. According to close relatives, the Thorngren family had endured several break-ins at their home, especially on Sundays, allegedly tied to their only son, 17-year-old Austin. Unlike his 2 seemingly perfect sisters, Austin struggled with a drug problem, making him the outlier of the family. He associated with dangerous people, leading some to assume that he was the reason for the robberies. But as the investigation unfolded, the truth revealed that the real killer wasn't an outsider. It was someone very, very close. When the police questioned the Thorngren family, their focus remained on the robbery theory. As they pressed for information, they asked the family if they knew anyone who might have been involved. One name surfaced: Jonah Gomez. Jonah Gomez was known for running a house where teenagers could crash or run away to. It was a refuge where they found shelter. But at a cost, they had to share some of the quote-unquote action with Ms. Gomez. The house was a hub for kids involved in drugs, burglaries, and various crimes, and one frequent visitor was Austin. At this house, other kids learned about Austin, his family, where he lived, and the number of people in his home. But the question remained, would they act on it? That was what the police needed to find out. When officers began searching for Ms. Gomez, they discovered that she was no longer in her home in Meridian. After an extensive search, they learned that she was incarcerated in Salt Lake City. Well, this development made it easier for detectives to interrogate her, potentially providing much-needed direction in this case.
Any bad news, violent crimes that may have happened up in the Idaho area?
I don't talk to nobody down there.
The death of a gentleman by the name of Curtis Thorngren.
And Thorngren, that name sounds familiar.
Okay, he is Austin Thorngren's father.
Oh my God. Oh my God. What happened?
He was murdered in his home.
Jonah claimed that she had no involvement in the case and denied encouraging anyone to do such a horrible thing.
That's why I'm just like, I didn't know Mr. Thorngren. I never met him.
Jonah claims that she doesn't know anyone in the Thorngren family that well, except for their son Austin, who was almost a regular at her house. If anything, Austin was more than that. He was actually a friend.
Austin, he came to me right before Thanksgiving, I believe, and said his parents were throwing him out. I took him in, and he was with me for probably a week or 2.
Well, with this appalling statement, the detectives realized that this picture-perfect religious family was not so perfect after all.
Baker's family, I don't know where it came from. They gave him everything in the world.
When Austin's habits were shunned or shamed by his family, he turned to Jonah, who welcomed him with open arms. By the way, if you're finding this video interesting so far, please hit that subscribe button. It really supports the channel. Now, let's dive back in.
Tossed him in under my wings, and I tried to keep him straight as can be. He uses anything and everything.
Let's see if we remember this pot. Sure.
Pot. Oh, you can't live with that pot.
Crank.
Yeah.
To what extent?
He smokes it, and then coke he'll snort it. But he's tried more drugs than I have ever tried.
According to Jonah, Austin was a drug addict who even did a bunch of burglaries around the neighborhood. To his parents, he was no longer the all-American kid they wanted him to be. He was now a criminal loose on the streets of Meridian, along with his other criminal buddies.
They were just using their dope off because they were all selling, or, this and that, or they were ripping each other, setting each other up, right and left.
With this newfound information, the investigation took a turn. Is it possible that one of his buddies came for Austin and shot down his father instead? Or, more likely, was Austin the one who killed his father over his disapproval? That's something the detectives needed to find out. Which is why, on January 15th, 2 days after Curtis's death, Austin is brought in for an interview at the police station.
We leave, and this is just, a voluntary statement that we would like to have gotten from him that night, Sunday afternoon. And we're just going to afford Austin the same treatment that we did the other folks that night. Just slipped away from us, for lack of a better term.
Already, Austin looks extremely nervous as he's constantly fidgeting and not maintaining eye contact. Perhaps this could be a window to something much darker.
Long time. He'd ask questions about drugs all the time. I'd tell him I just sit there and talk to him about drugs, so you know what you're talking about.
Your dad when was the last time things were good with you?
Probably when I was 11 years old.
This disapproval had been a long-standing problem between Austin and his dad. Also, note that Austin is giving this interview with no adult supervision. That is because on that exact day, Austin turned 18. That's right, his father died 2 days before he turned 18, which is an important part of this case, by the way, but more on that later. For now, the detectives continue to press Austin on his strained relationship with his father.
Tell us that you even jokingly or something said that you'd like to, see your dad dead, or that you'd like to kill him or anything like that.
I know I've said I've hated him, but I don't want to say I hate him. But I never said I wanted him dead.
Let me just ask the obvious question. Did you kill your dad?
Don't know.
Do you know who killed your dad?
I wish. But no, I wish I did.
Did you have anything to do with your dad's death? Okay.
After denying any involvement in the case, the detectives ask him of his whereabouts that day. He said that he spent the night at his grandmother's place, and that he was with a friend named Adam Ketterling.
From 2 a.m. until you wake up at Grandpa's.
Just watched a lot of movies.
Don't you go to sleep? Ever?
After a while, we built up, we were smoking weed.
The two crashed at Austin's grandmother's house, but they spent the entire night hanging out with his friend. Austin's grandmother confirmed this alibi, after which the detectives had no further questions and they decided to let him go. At this point, the investigation hinged on one person, Adam. Not only was Adam a potential lead, but he was also Austin's alibi. When detectives finally located Adam and brought him in for questioning, the investigation took a massive, unexpected turn. Adam admitted to spending the night at Austin's grandmother's house doing drugs. However, he recounted something shocking that changed the trajectory of the case. That morning, at around noon, Adam woke up to find Donna at the house. She met with Austin in the shed behind the house. Curious, Adam opened the shed door to find Donna standing in front of Austin, who was sitting on the couch with a look of utter shock on his face, like he had just heard something horrifying. When Austin noticed Adam, he asked him to leave and give them a moment. After some time, Donna left. When Adam asked what was wrong, Austin, filled with fear, replied, quote, "I think my mom just killed my dad." This revelation turned the investigation on its head. How and why would Donna, a loving wife and mother of 3, commit such a heinous act? Now, of course, detectives knew that they couldn't jump to conclusions, especially since Adam admitted to being under the influence of drugs that night, making his statement less than reliable. Still, if there was any truth to his claim, they had to find Donna before she harmed anyone else. But they were too late. Donna had already harmed someone. Herself. When detectives attempted to locate Donna, her daughter Amber informed them that Donna had overdosed on pills and was rushed to the hospital. She had taken 9 Ambien pills, a medication used for short-term treatment of insomnia. The overdose left detectives questioning whether this was an accident or Donna's attempt at an easy way out. Well, with no other choice, they postponed the investigation until Donna was stable enough to be questioned. As the investigation continued, detectives uncovered a crucial detail. Austin was Donna's favorite child. Both Curtis and Donna were painfully aware of Austin's troubled life choices. Curtis believed that the solution was to force Austin to take responsibility by kicking him out of the house when he turned 18. Donna, however, strongly opposed this plan and frequently fought with Curtis over it. She didn't want her only son to leave the house so soon. Coincidentally, Curtis was killed just 2 days before Austin's 18th birthday. Could this dispute have been the motive for murder? When Donna recovered from her overdose and was discharged, detectives finally had the opportunity to question her. On January 21st, Donna sat down for questioning. What followed was one of the most bizarre and shocking interrogations in the history of law enforcement.
It's a long week, probably for you too, huh?
Yes.
How's things been going?
Okay, it's off and on.
Back and forth, back and
Yeah,
forth.
it's hard. We want to get going on back and try to get back to normal. Somewhat. I mean,
If we can have, normal something we're going to shoot for again.
So everything's going okay though? You doing all right?
Yeah.
Sorry I didn't make it to the funeral.
I get good drugs.
You get good drugs? Nothing wrong with good drugs.
Yeah.
Sorry I didn't make it to the funeral, but it was just...
It was awesome.
It was a big funeral. I've heard several people say awesome as a definition for it.
Yeah, I mean, they estimated between 1,000 to 1,500.
You're kidding me.
No, it wasn't little. The whole
Yeah,
church.
it was standing room only.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was, I was impressed. There was lots of people
Yeah.
there.
I mean, it was amazing because, all my friends and all his friends, and we grew up at Central, so we know everybody there. And so there's a lot of people that don't even go there.
If you look back at any funeral that you've ever attended, whether it's a loved one or someone distant, and you describe it, we're pretty sure that the word amazing isn't going to cross your mind. Well, for Donna, her husband's funeral was amazing because of the amount of people who attended. As if that's the reason the funeral took place. Also, let's not forget that before she sat here, she was in a hospital undergoing treatment after she OD'd, so we're pretty sure that her jolly attitude is incredibly concerning.
When I talked to you, I was totally off.
Yeah, and I was a bit taken aback by the whole thing too, because it was, it was quite a scene. There wasn't a lot of commotion going on, and I'm trying to take notes, and I walk out in the rain, sitting on them, and I'm like, I was using that felt pen, and I'm like, what did she say?
I was totally wrong. So I gave you the receipt for lunch. Do you still have that?
Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you still?
I do. I have that.
Okay. Because I couldn't remember what time it was.
10:46.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
Well,
10:15. Well, she thought like 10:15. And
is she with you on that one?
no,
Oh.
she was waiting at home. But
I
she
see.
thought she left the house at 10:30. And she didn't leave till I came back. Because I walked in the house and talked to her and forgot Kurt's food in the car. So I had to go back out to the car and get it. So that we're off on a little bit.
Well, it's nice that we were able to have you come in and talk again. And just ground rules, what we're trying to do is we're about 9 days behind the interview that that were going to be comprehensive that we did the first night with the other folks, the other family members, and so you're certainly not under arrest. Okay. You're free to leave at any time.
Okay.
The doors are closed for our privacy because there's still some other stuff going on. Okay. This is
kind of what I was writing down.
okay.
11 in the morning, my sister. And I told her to call me back. I didn't want to get up.
It's kind of early.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
she wanted to know if I was going to church, and I was lazy, so I didn't. Because I planned on, we had planned for 2 weeks to go to this movie.
Which one was in the?
Made in Manhattan, like a girls' movie.
Okay. Chick flick.
Yeah. And, but then it just got totally messed up.
When she was initially questioned, her timeline was a bit off. But this time, she came in with receipts, literally. But of course, some parts of the evening can't be matched with the receipts. So, after a whole lot of timeline building, the detectives move the conversation towards Austin's bad habits, Kurt's inability to deal with those bad habits, and how strained their marriage really was.
Yeah.
Wasn't
What do you mean by that?
Well,
He's very religious, so that is the problem between him and Austin. Although Austin was going to move out Tuesday and to live with my mom. I don't know if anybody's told you that.
well, there's a lot going on about that. So what's the down and dirty skinny on that?
Because he smokes pot. Austin Kurt doesn't allow him in the house, or want him to move out when he.
So he's kicking him out, telling him he couldn't live there.
No.
Because he's not conforming.
Yeah, I guess so. But that was fine with Austin. He could be at grandma's.
How'd that make you feel? I mean, that's your son.
You know what?
We all make mistakes.
Yeah, it's.
What was it like? What was it like living with Kurt? Did you guys? We're learning that as we're trying to piece this together. Did you have like separate rooms?
I slept on the couch, and I have done that. I did go in.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay.
But
You did what now?
we did sleep together, but I slept the rest of the night on the couch.
Hey, you occasionally had sex? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Okay, all the time.
Okay.
But I need to know when Austin comes home.
That's what help us understand if those statements come up.
Well, understand.
Are we to believe that there's no love in the home, or you just were on the couch so you could watch what's going on coming out of that front door?
And the dogs are in the living room, and they're just now getting so they don't chew. And so they can jump that gate. And so you probably found a gate. I put that around so they can't get on the furniture.
Describe your relationship between you and Kurt, the last, up until his death. Were you guys getting along?
We fought like normal people.
Were you disconnecting a little bit? Were things? You need to help us understand a day in the life of your marriage.
Sure.
Take us back to this time. We saw this picture. Newlyweds, either before you're married, I'm not sure.
That was on the way out of the church after the wedding.
Okay.
That's your wedding day?
Yeah.
Okay. So we go from this time to where things are. I've been married almost 18 years, so you're not going to tell me, probably not going to surprise me too much, and I know about married life, so.
And we fought. Our biggest thing, of course, is the kids. I loved Kurt. Kurt, anybody can tell you, Kurt loved me. There was a period that it was really rough, and that's when we got the separate accounts.
Okay, tell us about that.
Because I had a lot of debts. I charge a lot. You'll find it. I do. Because I buy things for my kids, and so that way his was separate, so I had to pay for my own charges.
Is that a weakness? Was that a fault that you have? Is it?
I guess.
Well,
We all have faults. We all have weaknesses.
Here's an example. I interviewed a gal one time that got so bad she was addicted to the home shopping network. And she got credit cards under her mom's name and then ran the credit cards and we worked a case. But as far as, are you is it a spoiling situation that you can't say no, or is there a little bit
That's
of
it.
compulsion that we need to worry?
No, I do it for my kids. And then there was a lot, like, I'm sure you know, we have quite a bit in attorney fees, and Mom paid for it up front. And because our attorney's $7,500. And
Ferguson is?
but that's actually good because it's a
Not
set
bad.
fee.
Yeah. But it's not going to keep going up and up and up
Yeah,
and up. Every
but
phone
yeah.
call, it goes up another $50.
Well, if he pleads it out, he makes money. If he goes to trial, he loses money. So
Yeah.
it's probably
And so, and then Mom had paid off some of our debts previously. And what we do is we, when I had the debts, we pay our income tax. Give her the income tax. And then I paid her, up until recently when I had more daycare kids, I would pay her money each month. But I haven't had a lot of kids. So,
so in case money comes up, let's talk about joint accounts. What do you guys? Is there a joint family account that most people have?
no, Kurt has the account. He pays the bills. I pay the cell phone bill.
Okay, so Kurt has an account.
Yeah,
So Kurt's account
it's
is
at Wells Fargo.
And that's a checking or a savings account.
There's a small savings. There's a checking. There's probably quite a bit in savings. Checking, because part of our taxes from last year are in there. Because Kurt's car is going to fall apart, and so we were waiting. There's no sense in trading it in because it's worthless. So we were waiting till it fell apart.
okay. So Kurt. So as far as Kurt goes, we got Wells Fargo, which is checking and savings. What else?
As far as what does he have?
Any accounts that would be linked to your name or Kurt's name?
I have my visas and stuff, and
But how about through banks? So
I have a checking account at Home Federal.
Okay. That's where you got the ATM.
Actually, I didn't get it at Home Federal. I used Home Federal. That was
It was a U.S. bank.
Yeah. The one right there by, down the street from Albertson's across from Willow Tree Dental.
Mhm.
That's,
Do you have a U.S. bank account too?
No.
Or you just use your Home Federal account at the U.S.
you
bank?
can use the
Okay.
ATM for
That's
both.
your buck and a half, I think.
$2.
Yeah.
$2 now. Okay, so your check. So Kurt's accounts at Wells Fargo. Your checking's at Home Fed. What other accounts exist?
You like savings and stuff?
Yeah, if you were to run a credit report or
Are you talking like stock?
not yet, just something
okay.
where you could get money or
That's about it.
okay. And then I don't know if we need to go through all the visas and stuff. I mean,
No.
you guys have personal stuff. Okay.
We all have visas. You
They're
probably
mine.
have-
I know. I have a lot. They're mine. But then, that's the understanding. They were mine. I have to pay them.
Okay. And then your work outside the home is
Now, on the topic of bank accounts, the detectives also uncovered an interesting change in Curtis's insurance plan. A change which is a dead giveaway of the partner's involvement. As an employee of Hewlett-Packard, Curtis's employee benefits plan included 2 insurance policies. One that carried death benefits, and the other was the accidental death policy. Well, 2 months before the murder, Curtis's life insurance that was payable to Donna had been increased to a payout of $320,000, which would be effective from January 1st, 2003. It's as if she waited for the new year and the new policy to be in effect so that she could bank the most bucks from Kurt's death.
Him and Austin have never been physical. They argue, and
Yeah, I've heard those arguments get pretty
Austin uses
intense.
the F word. Yeah, they'll get face to face, but they have never raised a hand to each other, either of them.
okay. Staying on Austin and Kurt. There was some friction.
Austin smokes pot. Austin smokes.
When did Austin start
When Granddad died.
going bad, if you will?
When Granddad died. Austin, his little thingy, he'll say, I smoked pot at 11. Austin did not smoke pot at 11.
That's what he told me.
I know.
Yeah.
He'll tell you that. He was with my dad 24/7. And Kurt said he didn't feel any jealousy or risk in his relationship with Austin with letting him be with Granddad. Granddad was his life.
Okay.
Granddad did the things Kurt doesn't do.
Hunts,
Fishing, and all that. And, Austin could drive that red truck at 11 years old.
Okay.
Because Granddad taught him. And that's when Austin, after Granddad died.
Okay. Did you with Austin's problems and all bullshit aside, you can't tell me, because I've been there a little bit, is that if kids bring problems in the home, there's friction between the parents.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that didn't like to listen real well. It's my understanding. She punched the holes in the wall.
Yeah.
Was Kurt fit to be tied?
I'm sorry.
It's been so long, I can't remember how he reacted.
So once he got
So
into
all
everything?
this was towards me.
okay, well he worked through that.
Yeah.
And then Austin comes up, and now Austin starts causing those same problems. I can't handle anymore. I just raised 2 twin daughters who I had trouble with. Now I've got I can't. Now that issue's now with him, and maybe it was kind of I just don't want to deal with it more. I mean, did he not step in when he should have as a father?
What kind of support did you get from him?
I probably none.
So you're a single parent. I mean, basically, raising Austin.
Yeah,
Because he doesn't want to deal with it.
Yeah,
He's a paycheck.
but he's not.
But I'm not going to discipline him because it's just a yelling match. My patience are done. I'm on wit's end. I can't handle it anymore. So he gave up on Austin. It's not that Austin's that bad a kid. It's just that he gave up on him.
Well, it seems like he did. He loves Austin, and we just get so frustrated.
Absolutely.
There's nothing about not loving.
Right.
It's about
You love
my
someone.
patience are just completely gone, and I can't handle it anymore.
And see, they didn't really fight a lot. Generally,
But
they
there was-
stayed away from each other.
There you go. They avoided each other. So there was no immediate in-your-face conflict all the time
Yeah.
because they just went their own little worlds and left each other alone.
And Austin's schedule is totally opposite. Kurt goes to bed early, gets up early.
Which causes friction because Kurt wants to get to sleep and Austin wants to listen to music.
And
So that's going to cause problems. I mean, it's just
there was problems. Yeah,
it's a
I'll admit.
lose-lose situation
Yeah.
for him.
Yeah, I'll admit. But like Austin was looking forward to moving to Grandma's because he can wrap Grandma
Okay.
around his finger.
What's the worst thing that you've heard Austin
The detectives are trying to steer her to supporting the fact that it is this friction between her and Curtis and Austin that compelled them to kill him. Well, by picking up on this detail and adding real-life cases to support each detail, the detectives will try to corner her with the truth, hoping that she'll feel the pressure and confess.
say?
To Kurt, usually it's FU.
Okay.
So he says, "Fuck you."
Yeah.
Did he call him a name afterwards or just
Waldo.
"Fuck you, Waldo"? So they called him Waldo? I think somebody else said that.
I think so. We're getting hundreds of tips on what happened. Okay. A good percentage of those tell us to focus inside the house. Okay.
Okay.
They say it's not an intruder. You need to look inside that house. And Austin agreed.
Yeah.
Austin agreed. 50% of the tips will probably say it's me.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So Austin and I and Jamie, we had a pretty good discussion. And
Austin talked well.
we've got a pretty good, between 9 days at your house, between all the interviews that these guys have done, between Austin, we know you can say what you want, but life at Longford wasn't roses.
No.
Okay. And people are telling us a whole lot of stuff. We're learning a whole lot. People are a little put out here. We've got a pretty nice guy
Oh,
dead.
Yeah.
Loved his family.
Yeah.
But they see, we all have two faces. It's the face we put on when we leave that house in the morning, and we put on another face, and we come back and we put on the other face, the face we show only our family.
Austin has pulled and Kurt have pulled no punches. People know.
But both of them have two faces. Both of them have two different sides. You have Kurt, who to the public is going to church, Christian guy, hard worker, doing the sign language. Yet at home, he's withdrawn from Austin. He's not getting that support. He's not sacrificing, maybe taking him hunting, which wouldn't be that big of a sacrifice, other than he couldn't hurt an animal supposedly, but he could find a means to get somebody to help with that. He's not helping you with that anyway, and helping Austin. Now Austin and you're stuck with your daycare and the kids, and then Austin, and trying to keep that all squared away. And Kurt's back in his own little world playing crossword puzzles, which
You make it sound so terrible, and it wasn't that bad, I guess.
Everything has to be perfect. You have to
It
pop,
have to.
has to be in a glass.
Yeah, but it's just Kurt. I don't drink out of a plastic cup either.
Okay.
What's the worst thing that you've heard Austin say? Either to his dad, let's start there. What's the worst thing that you have heard Austin say to his dad as far as harming him? Threatening to harm him, or implied threats, or what may happen in the future, or immediate, like, anything from,
I'm going to kick your
ass. Come on right now, let's get it on, or your day's coming. What's the worst things? And keep in mind that we have talked to
I'm sure you have.
a lot.
lots of people.
What's the worst thing that you've heard?
And we're getting things, different people telling us the same things.
I'm trying to think. Usually there's not a lot of, Kurt Austin will just say, F you.
Have you ever gotten to space and said, "Fuck you, you pussy"?
That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I don't think he's calling that. Not that I know of.
Where would Austin get that? The gay stuff? Is there anything about Kurt's sexuality that we need to know about?
No, there isn't. Kurt had a gay uncle. No, not at all.
He's not
Okay, he's not the fisher, the hunter.
he's not the burliest man on the planet.
No.
He's obviously not what Austin wants, or he's not fulfilling Austin.
Look at his hands. He takes care of his hands. He has to.
He's a scientist.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, that's gay. Austin, that's gay. Comment in the funeral about Kurt's pants. They're, I don't know, I think Levi 550s or something.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what he wears. They're straight-legged. But then, could you picture somebody Kurt's height and that thin in nerdy pants like Austin?
Have you ever heard Austin say that he wants to kill his dad?
No. Not that I don't think I ever had.
Do you ever hear Austin say, "Your day's coming. You want it now? You want it later"?
No. Austin assumed he would, at 18, he would move out. He knows he's...
Had no control of his own. He was going to have to move out irregardless whether he wanted to.
Oh, he would have anyway. That's not a question.
What's the worst thing people are going to say that they've heard you say about Kurt?
Oh, probably he's worth more dead than alive. How when you... He's not. Look at...
What is he worth then?
$50,000.
That's it?
Yeah. He has the basic life insurance. He just added a policy for accidental death, which wouldn't cover this,
How do you know?
because I would assume it had to be a car accident, HP plane wreck.
Whose idea was that?
Kurt, because he's never had life insurance on me. And we got a policy on me. It just so happens that in November, I think, HP did a thinger.
You've got those documents.
Okay. And he added...
Here's what I thought about that. You tend to beef up your insurance when your kids are still young and at home, because if something happens to you, you got to provide for those kids. Because you're going to widow someone, you're going to widow your wife, and you're going to have to leave her with the funding to support that family and not overburden you.
Oh, okay, we never thought about that.
You are soon to become empty nesters.
Mm-hmm.
You heard that phrase.
Yeah.
You're mama bear, for lack of a better term. Right? There's nothing There's nothing that a mom will defend more than her cubs.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Well, you guys know.
Oh, I
I'm
do.
never.
And other than he's worth more dead than alive. What else? Hang on. What is some other things that people, and you know what they are, they told us. What are things that people are telling us that you have to talk to us about?
I don't know.
It's important that you be truthful with us and honest,
I
so
know.
we can either say it's rumors.
I would not hurt Kurt. First of all,
That's not the question. Donna, the question is, what's the worst thing?
Somebody could have overheard you say you wanted to do to Kurt, or that you would do to Kurt.
I don't know.
And there's an open offer. There's an open offer out there.
You knew that.
There's an open offer that you've got thrown out, that you've laid,
We talked to so many people
you've laid
about the offer,
these little bombs out there.
Oh.
and you need to be come out
I'm
with
saying
it.
I'll pay you to.
Come on,
I did pay him to kill Kurt. Who?
talk to us about that.
I wouldn't.
Was it said?
Yes, I said it.
Lots.
No.
What did you say? Not word for word, but in general terms. So we know we're talking about the same phrases when we get the lead sheet. We go, okay, those are the ones we're talking about.
I honestly can't remember. And if you guys want to charge me because I didn't do it.
I'll tell you what. Your plan, here's what we've done. This is day 9.
Yep.
Okay.
Day and night.
And we've got what we call the war room, WAR.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big pod across the way. And we've got everybody's statement.
Okay.
And we've got them lined out in timelines, and we've got things going. And you did a pretty good job.
Really good job. Couple
Really?
mistakes.
I didn't do
Two.
it.
Hang on.
Are you going to charge me? Is that what you're saying?
Hang on. Listen,
I
Listen to us.
think I
Hear
need
us
to get an
out.
attorney. Don't you?
it's up to you.
I didn't do it. And Austin didn't do it.
Can I finish my statement?
Yeah, go ahead.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
It was perfect except for a few things. You thought you could trust Austin.
I didn't.
Hang on. You thought you could trust him when you told him in the playhouse when you came back there.
I didn't.
You told him in the playhouse, and it was such a bomb that it was like a truck hit him. And after you left, he unloaded.
Yeah.
Darn right he did. That kid is scared to death.
And how?
That kid is scared to death.
Want that?
I didn't do it. I really didn't.
And Austin, I'm afraid Austin's going to fall on a sword. Austin, I think you and Austin are so close. He's going to say, no, I did it. It's not my mom. I did it. And he knows enough about the case because you told him. You told him that you just did it, that you've got a gun and clothes to get rid of, that he's half in the hall, half in the
I
bathroom.
did. Now, you guys,
Whoa, wait. What else? Shot him in the head?
No. Are you going to charge me? I honestly didn't.
We're here to talk to you about it.
I
You
didn't
need.
do it.
We are going to be able to find the bullets in the backyard where Austin shot the gun
Where Austin shot the gun.
at Grandma. And be able to match those with the rounds that we recovered.
Then go do it.
Okay. Let me listen to you very literally. I did not do it.
I did not do it. I really did not do it.
Are you saying then that you had it done?
No, I didn't. I have 50.
Kurt is so perfect in the way he.
Yeah.
Listen to me. When he comes home, his routine is this: just as you told us, put the brown coat in there, wash his hands, change clothes, and eat.
Mm-hmm.
He died before he ever got to the dinner table, before he ever got to that tray.
The things that drove you crazy?
It didn't.
Okay, the thing...
You know what? I think I need to get an attorney because you guys are trying to put words in my mouth. Okay?
It's up to you.
Okay. Am I free to go and call one?
You are free to leave.
Okay. I really didn't. I promise you I didn't. And I don't know what you're even saying about Austin shooting a gun in the backyard.
Oh. This is your chance.
Okay.
We have forever.
And I hope you do.
We checked everybody.
What?
Every single person. The killer was in the house.
It wasn't me.
I guess we'll be at trial and Austin's going to have to testify against you.
Yeah.
Okay. No problem. Do you have the basement?
Are you
The house down there where you do.
arrested?
What's that?
Are you arrested?
Despite the buildup and the reassurance of the consequences, Donna defended herself and Austin. She could have thrown her son under the bus, but she didn't, which is technically what a loving mother does. But there is only so much that a loving mother can do. In 2003, a grand jury indicted Donna for first-degree murder and her son Austin as an accessory to murder. On April 19, 2007, 4 years after Curtis's murder, Donna filed a motion to sever her trial from Austin's due to incriminating statements made by Austin. During their trial, Donna and Austin were offered plea deals. Austin's plea deal was that instead of facing the accessory charge, he pleaded guilty to 2 counts of unrelated parole violations stemming from incidents that occurred 2 years prior to his father's murder. He was sentenced to 6 months in prison, and he was placed on 5 years of probation following his release. Donna was offered a plea deal that would have included a 10-year sentence in exchange for dropping the charges against Austin. However, she rejected this deal and she chose to go to trial. So much for being a loving mother. She was ultimately convicted and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole on October 1st, 2010. In the end, there were 3 pieces of evidence that ultimately sealed Donna's fate. There was the shed statement by Adam Ketterling, the increase of insurance payment 2 months before the murder, and the third one was an overlooked part of the evidence. In the interrogation, we heard Donna talk about painting, right? Well, turns out she was wearing those pants when she stood at the door of the bathroom and shot Curtis. They tested the jeans and they found gunshot residue on the pants, which further incriminated her. Now, if you think this case was horrific, you need to check out my video on the wife who almost got away with murder.